The monster manual will tell you a lich is what happens when a wizard refuses to die. A spellcaster who traded everything for immortality. And the monster manual is mostly right. But there's another version of this monster the monster manual never tells you about. Same transformation, same undead body. And the humanoid who chose it gave up more than the lich ever did. Hey there, I'm Ron from Dungeon Noob, and once you understand why both of these creatures exist in the same canon, the lich stops being a monster and really starts being one of the most interesting tragedies in D&D. Okay, up first, to understand why a wizard becomes a lich, you have to understand what a powerful wizard is actually afraid of. Some wizards just can't accept that they're going to die. Magic gave them everything else but eternal life. And for a certain kind of wizard, that's the only thing that ever matters. So they find a way to cheat death. They become a lich. And here's how the basic process works. You have to already be an extremely powerful wizard, right? Then you build a phylactery or spirit box that you've been preparing for years to hold your soul. You perform a ritual that kills your mortal body and the soul flows into the phylactery instead of moving on. Then you come back undead, but still intact. You keep everything that made you a dangerous wizard. You keep your intelligence, you keep your spellcasting, and all your memories. You gain eternity, but you lose your humanity, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, the monster manual is crystal clear that a lich is pure ego and selfishness. They pursue immortality at any cost. That's the picture D&D has painted across every edition for the past 50 years. Now, hold on to that picture of a lich, the one we all know, the one I just described, because before we get to the part the monster manual leaves out, you need to see exactly how selfish a lich actually is. Now, real quick before we get to that part, over 6,000 other people have found their real-life D&D class. I created a quick short quiz that tells you exactly that, plus your entire personality profile. Go to DungeonNoob/quiz and I'll send the results straight to your inbox. It's a fun, fast quiz. Now let's continue with the video. Now, we all know that the lich has a phylactery that stores its soul, right? But here's a detail that many of you may not know or realize. The phylactery just doesn't sit there. The phylactery has to be fed. To feed it, the lich has to trap a living person's soul inside it using a spell called imprisonment. The lich needs to feed the phylactery. If it stops feeding it, the lich's body starts to fall apart. It's a constant hunger that never stops. If the lich wants to live forever, it needs to feed the phylactery forever. Now think about that for a second. These souls aren't abstractions, these are people. Someone's child, someone's partner, someone who was supposed to grow old but didn't. Innocent people. Why? Because some wizard decided their life was more important than everyone else's. And just think about it. In D&D, there is an afterlife, a few of them actually, and there are gods. The dead go somewhere, and the people they loved get to believe that someday they'll see them again. A lich takes that away. They don't just kill a person, they erase the soul that was supposed to keep existing. That's what the monster manual is talking about when it says that a lich is pure ego and selfishness. The lich is willing to take someone else's eternity so they can live forever. That's what a lich is. That's what fear of death looks like when a wizard has the power to act on it. So now, let's go to the part that the monster manual doesn't tell you. Now, in a sourcebook called Monsters of Faerun, indexed in the table of contents, there's a listing titled Lich, Good, and the creature is called a baelnorn. So we're told there are good liches, and the entry states that baelnorns are elven liches. Same transformation, same undead body, but everything else about them is the polar opposite of everything you just learned about traditional liches. The normal lich performs the ritual in secret. A baelnorn can't. The transformation requires formal approval from the coronal, from the high mages, and from the elders of the elven clan. The reason has to be one the community recognizes, like protecting a family line, guarding a sacred site, preserving knowledge that would otherwise be lost forever, or anything that has a good cause. And the whole thing only happens at the will of the Seldarine, the elven pantheon. The gods themselves have to sign off on it. A normal lich gains immortality. If you think about it, the baelnorn gives up its entire life. Okay, so that was all abstract, right? Let's think about what the elf is actually walking away from and giving up. They're not afraid of dying. They're not running from anything. They have a future. They have people they love. Other elves they were going to grow old with. Watch grandchildren grow up. Share the next 1,000 years with someone. But they make this sacrifice for the greater good. Now connect that to everything you learned about a lich in the first half of this video. The lich was afraid of dying, so they took eternity from other people. The baelnorn was not afraid of anything. They gave up their own eternity for people who would never know them. The lich acted out of fear. The baelnorn acted out of love, service, and serving the community. Both, according to canon, are liches. The only thing separating them is why they made the choice. So here's what you're actually looking at when a lich shows up at your table. You're seeing a wizard who is afraid of dying and decided that their life was more important than the lives that they'd have to consume to keep their eternal life. Everything the monster manual told you about ego and selfishness is true. They earned every word of it. And in the same D&D canon, there are good liches called baelnorns who make an ultimate sacrifice for good. An elf who walked through the same transformation knowing exactly what it cost and chose it anyway. They weren't afraid of death or to gain power. They did it for the good of society. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you made it to the end, if you want to know what I rolled a 15. So comment the number 15 below so I know you made it all the way to the end. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.